In this session, we're going to validate the pricing of an owner's job design. The owner's previously entered the design information for this job. Now we're going to go to the pricing tab, and we want to validate first and foremost that all of our units are pricing. So we can hide a lot of this detail. We don't need to see this to make this validation. We'll just get down and look at our unit pricing and validate that everything is indeed pricing. In this process, we also can go through and take a look and make sure that things seem reasonably priced and that we don't see any obvious errors. Once we've done that, we can go through and make some additional adjustments if we desire. So we'll open up our labor here, and you'll see that we have an average labor and an adjusted labor. In some contracts, the owner will allow pricing to be adjusted at this point. Now again, this is the owner's design. This is a baseline or reference value that they're going to use in evaluating the work group's estimates when they are submitted. But they may want to make some adjustments here. If you look at long established unit price contracts like you see in perhaps distribution, gas, water lines, these prices will be locked and not modifiable. The work groups have signed contracts. These are the units. This is what they get. But in this case here, we're trying to take a workforce from some T&E work to the more traditional units work, and we're going to do it incrementally. So this owner has decided to allow pricing to be modified at this point. We'll be able to work with that work group going forward and say, hey, you're always modifying some unit at bid time. Maybe we should go back and take a look at the basis for that price and adjust it so you don't need to do it in every single estimate. Over time, you'll see that your work groups will get very mature. There'll be very minimal changes here. That's your cue to go ahead and lock in these prices and get this to a more simplified contract where unit prices are fixed, locked, solid. Perhaps the only modification they can make is factoring. So if changes are necessary, make them here. Otherwise, leave them alone. Another unique element we have in UnitsPro is this direct expense. There's going to be some units that you're really not interested in having your field inspectors have to track. Let's say MOB and DMOB. We go ahead and select those. We've got a couple others down here that fall in that category. We've got some miscellaneous dollars for porta potties and dumpsters and such. And then we've got a safety man that we have a unit for. So we don't want to have to track those. So we're going to update this estimate, and we'll take a look at our direct. And what just happened there is the ones that we've checked, their unit price went to 0, but the total extended dollars got spread in this direct column for all other units. So now the price is still there. Our difference from where we were to where we are now is $0, but we no longer have to track these elements. So this is a very slick process. If the owner decides that he wants to have these costs split across the other units, he'll set this here, and once he does so, the work groups won't be able to change that. They have to follow a lead. For this job, we're going to keep it simple and not do this. So go ahead and do that. Update our estimate. Now as you're working through this, you may find that that's now good, and that is good, and that is good. And you can lock these as you go so that you can't make any mistaken entries, or you have to unlock it to do so. So you can see that locks down. You can lock all or unlock all. For this point, we have a validated pricing for our design, and we're ready to submit this design to the reviewer. Right, submit that. And at this point, we'd probably go ahead and run our reports and include the necessary reports that the reviewer is going to want to see to make an evaluation. And this is where we'll pick up in our next session.